The Superannuation Industry Supervision regulations state that the trustee of a self-managed super fund must formulate, review regularly and give effect to an investment strategy that has regard to the whole of the circumstances of the super fund. When preparing and implementing your investment strategy for your fund, you need to ensure you review it regularly to ensure it still meets yours and the other members' retirement needs. And here are some considerations when preparing your strategy. You must consider and document the risk involved in making, holding, realising and the likely return from the entity's investments, having regard to its objectives and expected cash flow requirements. The composition of the entity's investments as a whole, including the extent to which they are diverse or involve exposure of the super fund to risk from inadequate diversification. The liquidity of the super fund's investments, having regard to the expected cash flow requirements, and the ability of these super funds to discharge the existing and prospective liabilities. Finally, whether the trustees of the fund should hold a contract of insurance that provides insurance cover for one or more members of the fund. So to explain that, we'll look at a case study. John's aged 45 and believes that commercial property will provide the best long-term return for his super fund. He wants to invest 5% of his super into a bank account and 95% into direct property. He can do this as long as his investment strategy considers the specific issues for him of investing in this manner. John's investment strategy would need to discuss the risk of investing in a commercial property with only 2 tenants. What is the plan if a tenant leaves? How easy is it to re-tenant the property or to sell it if required? What sort of cash flow will the property generate, and is this sufficient to pay all of the expenses? If there is surplus cash, what will happen with that? As John gets to retirement age, will the property still be a suitable investment? The super fund won't have diversification of asset classes, so John needs to document the trade-offs involved. He may expect better long-term returns and be willing to accept limited diversification, and John will need to document the specific risks he faced from this limited diversification. John's super fund won't have much liquidity, so he will need to formulate a plan for this. This may include accumulating cash in the bank to ride out any periods of nil rent. Many super funds face this issue over the last couple of years with COVID impacting their tenants. All self-managed super funds are liable for a range of liabilities: accounting and audit fees, fees to the tax office and possibly to ASIC for a corporate trustee, and tax, etc. The investment strategy should have a broad plan for how these liabilities will be funded both now and in the future when a pension may be required. John will need to consider what happens if he dies or is disabled. Does the super fund need to hold insurance on his life to provide for his beneficiaries? The answer can be no, but the reasons should be documented. Trustees can document their own investment strategies, or you can ask us for assistance. We're here to help. There are so many strategic and compliance matters to consider to manage your self-managed super fund successfully. Here at Alton, our specialist SMSF team administer over 240 self-managed super funds. Our wealth management team specialise in providing investment and strategic advice relating to SMSFs, making us an ideal partner for your super fund and retirement planning needs.